Hey guys, it's Katie. It's April 1st. I'm going to do my first garden walkthrough. I did a little informal one on Instagram. There's a squirrel outside. Um, this will be the first one for YouTube for 2020. I have some stuff coming in. I have some seeds that I've put out, and I have some stuff from last year. So it's not a ton going on, but I'll show you kind of a starting point we have for this year. Everybody's home because of stay-at-home orders or whatever you call it. So my neighbors are like outside. Like I have neighbors on all sides. And at some time, somebody's out at all times. So yeah, they're gonna watch me filming dirt because there's not even that many seedlings. So come along with me. Share my shame of vlogging in public. All right, what's first? This is I immediately forgot the name of the bush. It's a forsythia bush. We had a forsythia bush. It wasn't on our property. It was next to our property, and I loved it, but they took it out. And so it actually, if you don't dig up the roots, it will come back. So there's a little sprouting spot, and I just pulled it out of the dirt and put it in this pot, and it's greened up a lot. There was just like 1 or 2 leaves, and now there's lots of leaves. So maybe this will grow, and I'll have my own forsythia bush since they took away the one I loved so much. Anyway, here is my fig, and it is looking like it's waking up, which is wonderful and promising. And there's even, it looks like this little one here is new growth from the bottom. But all of these stems, I was going to say except for this one, and I just broke it off. Obviously this is dead and dry, so, well, solved that problem. But everything else, every other branch here is alive. And well, look, there's a new shoot coming out of that one too. That is copper, I don't know what you call it. It's like a sheet of copper my husband put around there last year to try to deter the slugs. I didn't have slugs on my fig here. This one's mine. He has other figs. But he put it on there and it's not hurting anything, so. But yeah, there's lots of points of life here on this. This started as a really small little start, so I'm happy to see it growing bigger and bigger. Here along the porch, I transplanted some strawberries. These were in another place and I just put them here. I'm also going to try, last year I tried to grow loofah here, and I have these ropes that go all the way up to the roof of this porch, so I'm going to try that again. So I think by the time, I don't know, I think they'll be okay to be here together, the strawberries and the loofahs. Because the strawberries were already flowering. They may have dropped their flowers when I transplanted them. No, they're still flowers. And I see here a little strawberry. So these are pretty early. I mean, everything's early this year. It's just an early spring, so maybe those will be up and done before the loofahs come out. So it has to be warm for the loofahs, so hopefully they don't interfere with each other. Here's a rhubarb that tried to die on me like 6 times last year. It has beautiful red stems. I have other rhubarbs that always come in with green stems, and I've tried like 4 different times to get red stemmed rhubarb. But yeah, this died back like 2 or 3 times last year. But it looks like it's coming up from at least 3 different places, and last year it only had 2 places, so it's obviously the root system is doing well, and everything looks good. I was having problems with some kind of fungus or bacterial infection because the leaves would get spots and then the whole plant would just collapse and then it would die all the way back, and then it would come back and then it kind of did the same thing. So I'm gonna have to keep on top of that and hopefully get some kind of fungicidal spray or something. If you know anything about rhubarb, let me know. I put a few more strawberries there. I also threw a bunch of marigold seeds in this bed. There was a bunch of dandelions, and so every time I dug a dandelion out, I threw a seed head from the marigolds in there. So hopefully some marigolds come up. We haven't done anything to amend this soil, so it's just Virginia clay. So we'll see what does well and what doesn't. That's a daisy plant that I think maybe we divided it from, we have some daisies on the side of the house. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Alright, so we'll go look here in my daughter's garden. I put 2 strawberries. I wonder if a squirrel dug one up because I only see the one there. So I have those, and then those are Easter lilies. She put, she's got some other seedlings coming up. Those might be tree seeds. She put carrot seeds in, but I have no idea where she put them, and I have no idea how she put them in. And I think carrots are one of the more picky kind of seeds. I also threw some marigold, like I just take the whole head of the marigold with all the seeds inside. They dropped all over my garden, so I had a ton of them and I just gave her a lot. So she generally just likes to grow flowers, and sometimes she likes to grow vegetables, but she might have put something over there. That looks like it might be radish. She did have some radish seeds out here. I don't know. Maybe I should ask her what's in her garden. But that's her garden. Here we have an onion that's from like 2 years ago. It just keeps coming up and I just keep ignoring it. Kale, they actually look really nice, but if you can see, it's going to seed. I should probably pull these leaves off and at least get some use out of these leaves. But yeah, I could break this off and try to extend this plant a little bit longer, but kind of maybe I'll just let it go to seed and then it can self-seed, because these are self-seeded. So this is like 3rd generation of this kale plant in this pot, or this spot. So, and then I think there's some like maple trees or something growing in there. I didn't plant anything else. I purposely didn't plant anything in this bed because I wanted to make this bed for sweet potatoes. What I wanted to do is make it deeper though. So my plan was to make a second bed just like this, but instead of having like these flush, I wanted to make them longer, and I wanted to put them like mid-board. So not in the corners, but mid-board. And then I was just going to set it right on top. And then I was thinking those boards would kind of screw it into that board, so it would be twice as high. So I could do like potatoes and sweet potatoes, but I'm not going to the store to get lumber right now. So, and I'm having a hard time finding sweet potato slips. I tried to grow from a grocery store sweet potato, and then I ended up eating the sweet potato. Because, yeah, our pantry is we're using every bit of our pantry, and so I had it in the water for like 4 days. It never sprouted, and so I just ate it. So I'm not going to get sweet potato slips that way. I'm not finding online to buy like sweet potato slips for gardens, so I don't know if we'll do sweet potatoes this year, but I am interested, for sure interested in them. This bed, I don't think I put anything on this end. I don't think I did. Nothing's come up if I have. That's how well and organized I am. This cilantro is all self-seeded, and I did put, like on this end, since I figured the cilantro was already in here, I did put a variety of things. I know there's kale and Swiss chard in here at least. I might have put some other kind of like radishes. I think I think I put radishes in here too. This looks like kale. These little heart-shaped leaves. Radishes have heart-shaped leaves too, but usually their stems are red. And then there's a bunch of stuff coming up here. Also probably kale. This right here looks like Swiss chard. I do remember I had Swiss chard here last year and it actually did well, so I'm putting it here again. That may also be, yep, that's also Swiss chard there. Little itty bitties, can you see them? And yeah, I think there's some weeds coming up too, but you can see, I'll show you a teeny tiny cilantro. The thing I like about self-seeding is I come out here, I'd have to know when to put the cilantro seeds out, but this probably fell in this area last fall or late last summer, and just now it's germinated. Like, Mother Nature knows what to do, so that's why self-seeding is my favorite way of having a garden. That cilantro looks awesome, and if I'm only going grocery shopping once every, or actually even worse, I'm sending my husband to go grocery shopping once every 2 weeks at grocery stores that are out of stock of a ton of stuff, I probably would not be planning any meals that require cilantro, because it's one of those things you have to buy it and use it pretty quickly. So it's so nice to have it in the garden. Alright, again, there's another cilantro. That was actually broadcast from, this is where I planted them, and then it went all the way over there. So that's pretty cool. This is the best looking one, so I'm happy that it's here. These kale plants were put in last year, and they got eaten down by bugs, and then the cold, they kind of died back. But they are growing back. That one actually there looks awesome. That one actually has like leaves coming out of it. These ones are kind of just starting to grow. That looks like a radish right there. I did put a bunch of radishes among the things that were already in. So yep, there's some radish here. See how the stems are red? Just like the radish root. That is a Swiss chard that I put in as a plant last fall, and it died back, and and it came back, and it's looking good. I think just like about a week ago I filmed just a few clips of what was coming up, and I put it on my Instagram stories, and that thing was just, I wasn't even sure that it was a Swiss chard. It was so small, so it's definitely a Swiss chard. The lettuce is coming up, and I don't know if you can see, there's lettuce a lot here, and there's a nice amount of lettuce here, but here, there's not, because a squirrel came through and dug it up, and I don't think he was going for the lettuce. It's just collateral damage. Here is the lettuce. So the first leaves that come out are these seed leaves, and then the true leaves, so that little bitty thing is the first actually like lettuce leaf, so that's good to see. Last time I came out here I just saw them they had just germinated, and now they're looking good. You can see like even down in here where the squirrel dug it up, they're still trying to do what they can to survive. But this will come up and it'll be so full that I'll actually be happy that there'll be a little break in the action, because it'll help me kind of attack it when I harvest. So I guess I can't be too mad. Wow. There's a lot of kale coming up here. I purposely planted this thickly so I could, like if I wanted to, I could harvest this now. So like when I thin it out, I can harvest it, and then I can also get like a lot of baby kale. I always hate to pull baby kale because a baby kale could turn into a whole kale plant. So I figured if I planted this thickly that I could harvest all along the way. These are all self-saved seeds, so I didn't pay anything for them, so I might as well use them. You can see these here are marigolds. You're going to see these all throughout the garden. I'm going to let them get a little bigger. I'll try to transplant them if it doesn't like interfere with what's around here, and put them in my daughter's garden, or maybe out front, or wherever. I'm not sure what this is. It kind of looks like a sunflower. I did plant sunflowers in the corners of my bed last year, so I don't know if that's from last year or what. Alright, so this bed I kind of divided in thirds. I put kale in here, I put beets on that end, and in the middle I put spinach. Spinach is kind of hard to see because like this is marigolds. The spinach has much longer, yeah, see this is spinach, much longer, skinnier leaves. So that's spinach. And I do see some, like there's some more here, but a lot of this is marigolds. And then it looks like there's some radishes over there. I may have put radishes in too, thinking they'd come up and out before the spinach. And those are definitely radishes. And then here I put beets. And the beets are going to be the tricky one, because the beets and the marigolds at this stage look pretty similar. If they come in a clump like this, it might be marigolds because they just drop their seeds in a big clump. Or it could be that I didn't broadcast the seeds properly. Yeah, that could be either. We'll have to see when they get a little bigger. But it is nice to see something coming up, because the kale's been up for a while, the lettuce has been up for a while, and those radishes and everything. There is well, that's a dandelion, and that's actually a 2-year-old Swiss chard plant that died all the way back, but there was a big woody root in there, and it looks okay. It's probably going to go right to seed, but that's fine. Ooh, look at that. This is the first time I've seen the peas. I just turned around and was wondering if they would be up, and here they are. These are sugar snap peas. Looks like they've just come up. Such a beautiful sight. I put them all along in a row here, and then a row on the other side. I actually stopped because I ran out of peas, so it's not the whole length. I'll have a little section. I don't know, maybe I'll do something else, or get some other, like another packet of seeds for sugar snap peas, because you can do those, like start some and then start some a little while later, so that when these start to fade, a new batch will be coming up. All of this kind of grassy stuff, it's dill. That actually, what I thought was spinach over there might be dill too. Now that I think of it, dill is all over my garden. But you can see, like I said, these are the seed leaves. Seed leaves are the first ones that come up, but that's the first dill leaf, and that looks more like dill than spinach. So we'll see. This is a marigold right here. This is all dill. And I'm happy that it's coming up, and I'm just going to let it come up. If it gets in the way, I'll pull it out. If not, it can come up wherever it wants. Let's see. This kind of looks like lettuce, but I don't know. Maybe it is. This is obviously a dandelion. Oh, let me back out. Sorry, I'm all up zoomed in. And then this is another one of those roots. This is the kind of root that a Swiss chard makes. And then it's sprouting here. Looks like something might be eating it. But yeah, I'll just let that go. Oh yeah, this still is even farther along. You can see the little frilly fronds. That looks like lettuce. Did I plant lettuce over here? Did I? I don't even know. And some kale here. I don't remember planting kale here, but I did have a kale plant here 2 years ago. Yeah, it's all a guessing game. I don't know. So yep, this is all dill, marigolds, and peas, it looks like. But yeah, I'm so happy to see the peas coming up. And I'm glad that I know that they're up so I can keep an eye on them because birds can pull them up sometimes. I keep an eye on that. This is where my asparagus is. I don't know. I really like the idea of having asparagus just come up. But I don't know. The fact that I'm not working the bed, it just gets kind of overrun with weeds, and then I'm not motivated to clean them out because I can't put anything in here anyway. And then I do see an asparagus though. Looks like a little alien pod coming out of the ground. And then I see another one there. That's a little skinny one. And there's dill in this garden bed too. And all these dead nettles and weeds and dandelions. And then what's back here is garlic. And it was actually a garlic bulb that was left a couple years ago, and it keeps coming up in my husband's strawberry bed. And we just let it grow. And like if you don't dig up the root, or if you go to pull the greens and the root stays behind, it will just grow back. But it's a good deterrent for, like, especially squirrels and stuff. They don't like the strong smell. So it came up in a big bunch. Each of the individual cloves in the head of garlic came up. So it was all kind of together in a clump. So I just yanked the clump up, I separated them, and then I planted them out. Not the right time, at least not the ideal time for planting, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I think that's all. I didn't put any seeds in this bed. I may have put radishes amongst the garlic, but I don't think I did. The apple tree has some buds, which is amazing. I need to spray today. As soon as you see the color, you have to spray. I get cedar apple rust. The cedar tree that my neighbor had is gone now. So he cut down the forsythia, which is a bummer, but he also cut down the cedar tree, which maybe that means I'll actually get this tree to survive. But yeah, I need to spray a fungicide to keep that rust off. Looks like the blueberry bush has some signs of life. If it would focus, which is nice to see. All over it too, so that's good. Let's see what's down here. I gotta be careful down here because we got bees. It's cold today, so they're not really out. Here's a fig. He said one of his figs is doing something, and I don't see this fig doing anything. So maybe it's a different fig, or maybe I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, the wood is definitely green. It's not dry or dead, so they're alive. And I bet you if I pulled back those leaves, I might see new growth coming from the bottom, but I'm not going to disturb it. Here among the weeds is raspberries. I cut back all of the old wood so that the new stuff could come and keep it contained. I also pulled a bunch out that was in places where it shouldn't be. This looks like the best little spot of the raspberries coming up. Okay, here, I'm watching you bees. There's a few floating around, but they're not really out today. This is hops. It comes up and it spreads underground, so it's supposed to be there. You can see those ropes go up to where it trellises up above the shed, but it's moved all the way back here, so it's going to be a war between the raspberries and the hops. But these look really nice. These are Cascade hops. There's a bee floating around here, but I don't think that's a honeybee. Unless it's a drone. That's a fat bee. That is a fat bee. I don't know what that is. Don't look like our honeybees. Anyway, you can see this is all hops, so promising. Got the bee watering bucket there. Let's see. Oh, let's see if we can sneak up on them. Yeah, they're coming out. They're looking a little lethargic, but it is cold. They're so cute and fuzzy. Alright, this is a gigantic Concord grape. Looks like it's budding out. Oh yeah, it looks nice all over. See all that new life? That's what we like to see. Here, he did the same thing. There was 2 bunches of garlic, so I pulled one up and I put it in my garden, and then he went and pulled the other one up and just kind of separated it and replanted it. There are some strawberries back there too. This used to be the strawberry bed, but I don't know. I don't think he likes the idea of not having the bed for anything else, so strawberries have kind of suffered because he kind of moves them around a lot. But maybe we can move the strawberries over by the porch where I have that other. There's the other. Oh yes, I do see life on this one. Oh yes, that's a fig. That is definitely life. Some greening up. This is a very nice, thick one. All of his are much larger. He's had them longer and they started out bigger. I don't think anything is going on in his garden. He pulled a bunch of stuff out, although it looks like there's more to pull out. Actually, the birds were pulling stuff out. This is the other rhubarb, one that has green stems. Of course, it's the most beautiful and lush of them all. That alien pod is a seed stalk going up. It does that every year and spreads seed everywhere. Some weeds here, but this is horseradish. Just looking nice. Should dig it up and like divide it and spread it out so it can kind of fill in this area. That's what it looks like. And then this is the last fig. And I don't see, these are old figs from last year that were on it when it frosted and they kind of just died on there. I don't see any signs of life just yet on this one. They're all different varieties, so they kind of wake up at different rates. Alright, I think that'll do it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have a garden, I'd love to see it. So if you're on Instagram, let me know what your username or handle or whatever that is called is. And I'll come check out your pictures, or if you're on YouTube, link to a garden video, and I'd love to watch your garden grow too. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!